Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, it's David here and welcome back to another ATLUS news episode. And today we have interesting topics to talk about. I do want to discuss recent news from ATLUS directly that gave us a lot of new details about episode Aigis The Answer / the expansion pass for Persona 3 Reload. We also got a confirmation or a deconfirmation when it comes to FeMC Kotone and the fact that she's probably never going to be in a Persona 3 release anymore. And some fans are thinking that Persona 6 could get revealed soon, like this week. I'm not so sure about that, so we'll definitely discuss that as well. So if you're new to the channel, you'd like to stay up to date on all things when it comes to ATLUS, you're at the right place. Make sure you subscribe, ring that notification bell as well. And as always, if you enjoyed the content, a quick thumbs up is a great way to show your support. Now let's get right into it, and we'll start off with Persona 6, right? Because I know some of us are dumbasses with actual expectations, and I'll be honest here. That's not the case today. I do not think Persona 6 will be revealed soon / this week, but I know some of y'all are following a lot of ATLUS content creators, are on ATLUS social medias and everything, and you're gonna see people talking about that. A lot of people are discussing that, and that is for one simple reason, and it's the fact that ATLUS announced that they are going to host an emergency information live stream on March 29th, and they were very unclear about what exactly that is, other than the fact that it was announced right next to their big Persona Live Tour concerts for 2024, which is basically, from my understanding, a series of huge concerts for the Persona series in general. And ATLUS used to reveal a lot of stuff at concerts, and now because they're doing an emergency live stream thing, people are doing links and they're thinking Persona 6, now's the time. As much as I agree that Persona 6 will probably get revealed this year or early next year, for some reason, this doesn't seem like it. They're doing things differently now. The last time that they announced something big at a concert, if I recall correctly, was for Persona 5 Strikers, so it's already been 5 or 6 years already. So I really do not think Persona 6 will get released on the 29th. There is this live stream that they're going to do. I won't stream that one again because I'm not too confident that we'll get a Persona 6 reveal. But I won't lie, I'll still have my eyes on it, and of course I'll be here reporting on it if something were to happen, if Persona 6 was to get revealed, which sounds insane because we've been talking about this for so long. But again, I wouldn't get your expectations up. I'm the official dumbass with actual expectations, and when it comes to this, I don't agree with people saying that we'll see Persona 6 this week. I think they're just gonna, give information about the concerts, which tracks they're gonna play, stuff like that. I don't necessarily think, although it's strange, it's weird. We'll keep an eye on it. Persona 5 was announced in some type of stream, which is, like, if I recall correctly, was a 3-day live stream, 72 hours live stream, which was a countdown to the official reveal of Persona 5 being exclusive to PlayStation 3 back then. Crazy times, right? Red background, 5 chairs. We all saw that, or at least I was there when that happened, so that was huge and exciting. Maybe they do something along those lines for Persona 6, but I hope they learn from their mistake and they do something along the lines of a Metaphor Refinazio reveal, where when they finally show it, it's gonna be the real deal. That's what I'm hoping for. Enough time on this Persona 6 stuff. Now let's move on to actual news and actual information, which is for Persona 3 Reload and the expansion pass episode Aigis The Answer specifically. What we'll do is we'll look at an article that was translated by Persona Central. As always, links to my sources are in the description. And this translation comes from the latest issue of Persona Magazine 2024 Spring, which was recently revealed, and it includes interview for Persona 3 Reload, which one of them features the producer, so Kazuhisa Wada, and also the director of Reload, Yu Hashizume, and they're discussing episode Aigis, which is of course set for release September 2024. So what I did is I went over everything in the article, and I regrouped the information that I figured you guys would think is interesting when it comes to episode Aigis The Answer, something that fans are excited for, more than I thought they would. I was wrong when it comes to that. I was saying people wouldn't get excited about the answer. Apparently, people are. So that's going to be interesting to see the reception when that officially releases in September. So what they're saying is there is going to be no story changes in episode Aigis The Answer. It's as is when it comes to Persona 3 FES, and the answer is going to be the same thing, but with beautiful visuals and certain gameplay changes that we'll discuss in a second. They also said something interesting. Of course, when Persona 3 Reload was first announced, there was no DLC plans, and I was praising that. I was like, wow, that's cool. Finally, no day one DLC for Reload. And what happened is the planning for the expansion pass, or more specifically episode Aigis The Answer, ATLUS and the Persona team thought about that early in development, early in the planning stages for Reload. So they thought about that very early on, but it was really rough to kind of justify putting time and money and effort into The Answer. They decided not to do it, but a lot of miracles happened, and they said by summer of 2023, they had a possibility to do it. So when they revealed Reload and they saw the big reception and people being excited for Reload, and of course a ton of people complaining about the lack of The Answer, that's when they were able to figure it out and they were able to start working on it, which is the reason why it's not day one DLC, and which is the reason why it was revealed just a few weeks ago, which is also a few weeks after the game dropped. That's how they're explaining it. At least you can believe it, you can not believe it if you want, but to me that makes sense because ATLUS, they're not shy of doing day one DLC. They don't care. So if it was something that was confirmed and ready to go day one, it would have been their day one in my opinion. But that's basically the story behind what happened here. One thing that I really love to hear is the fact that they're saying they focused on making the gameplay faster for The Answer. So before, they say it was around 30 hours to complete, and now it's going to take about 20, which in my opinion will make it more fun because again, if you played The Answer back in the day, it was rough in certain aspects. So I'm very curious to see what they're doing with it, but that is one thing that they're doing. There's going to be new theurgy spells for Aigis as well, which again makes sense, new persona and everything, right? And one thing that I was excited to hear, there's going to be 2 new songs, new music tracks for episode Aigis The Answer, and they're doing a remix of my favorite track, or at least one of my favorite tracks from Persona 3 in general, Heartful Cry, which is a banger of a track. You guys should check it out if you haven't, but they're remixing that bad boy, so that is going to be really, really exciting. At least it is to me. And of course, the main thing to come out of this article is what you're seeing on screen right now about Kotone/FeMC, and I'm just going to quote what was said because I think it makes it extremely clear. So the interviewer asks, the fans were hoping for episode Aigis to be remade as expanded content to P3R, but another thing that P3 fans have been hoping for is the implementation of the female protagonist from P3P into P3R. Is there a possibility of this happening? So see, that's insanely clear. And then Wada says, quote, I'll begin with an apology, but unfortunately, the appearance of the female protagonist in P3R will not happen. Of course, we considered the inclusion of the female protagonist alongside episode Aigis, but the more we delved into it, the more hopeless it seemed. The development time and cost would likely be 2 or 3 times that of episode Aigis, making it challenging to entrust entirely to external companies and exceeding our capabilities. Even if P3R and the expansion pass were to exceed our sales expectations and resolve the cost issues, the release would still be far off. Additionally, the expectations is also that we make completely new games, not just remakes, so we need to allocate limited development resources accordingly. I deeply apologize to the fans who have been supporting us for a long time, but we are happy that P3R has been released and that episode Aigis will be as well, and that many are interested in playing those. This would be the moment if we could do it, so I'm very sorry to the fans, but I don't think there's any possibility to make it happen in the future either. So if you ask me, it's the end of this conversation. It's not going to happen. People will still bring it up, but when it comes to the development team, I think they did a great job here with communication. That's the reason why she's not here, and she's not going to be here in the future either. So you guys know my take on FeMC. I don't want to get started on this again, but I think they're closing in when it comes to that chapter. A lot of people are bummed out about that. I understand, but hey, at least now we have, other than the lack of FeMC, a definitive version of Persona 3 Reload playable on most modern platforms. Very accessible game. It's going to be released on Nintendo as well, according to Midori, which is great news. And you also have a very accessible version of the Persona 3 portable version, which is also available on all platforms, and that features Kotone/FeMC. So if you really want to experience her social links, her particularities that you don't have in Reload with the male protagonist, you can still do that, and it's very accessible. So to me, it's all right. That's where we are at when it comes to FeMC. So what do you guys think of all the details that they gave us when it comes to FeMC, Persona 3 Reload, The Answer episode Aigis, and most importantly, do you believe Persona 6 will get a reveal this week, or are you with me saying like, hey, maybe, but it does not seem likely at all? Make sure you drop a comment and let me know, and of course, if you'd like to support me, a thumbs up is all you need to do. It's a big help. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. You have a great week, y'all. Bye.